Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to the Psychic Hour for February of 2023. And just as we get started, I want to make sure that all of you are able to see and hear me. So, Lisa, can you just do that check for me and make sure everything is working properly?
It looks and sounds perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And folks, just to give you a little bit of an overview, I know I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces on tonight's call, so most of you are going to know how this all works, but just in case you can't remember, a little refresher is always good. Folks, we do these psychic hours every month. We've been doing them every month since about 2010. It's been a while, and they're always free. So this is something which is my gift to you, because you give the gift to me by being here and listening and by following my work. And I'm so very grateful that all of you do that. So this is my gift back to you. Now, I do give pretty complete readings on these calls. And so I don't have a chance to read everyone who comes in, but everyone will get a chance to ask me one question. Folks, if you stay here until the end of the hour, you are going to be able to send me using the email that's on this website, or you can email Lisa at lisasainc@aol.com. One simple question. And for everyone who calls in with a question tonight, whether you're calling in and getting picked by Lisa because she does the choosing for me to read, or whether you're going to send me your question afterwards, I would like to know your first name only, don't need the last name. I'd like to know what you're most grateful about right now at this time in your life. I would like to know your sun sign. Those of you who've been following me for a while on these psychic hours know that armed with your sun sign, this chart, which is called a horary chart, see my cursor moving around it, it comes to life, and it's going to tell me a whole lot about every single one of you who's on this call with me tonight. So I definitely want your sun sign. And I also would like to know your one simple question. Okay, and we usually get a lot more information than that one question, as a matter of fact. And so if you're calling in, I go into it a little bit. If it gets chosen, I go into things a little bit more deeply usually. If you send me a simple question, you're going to get a more simplified answer. But that's because I have like 100 people that I'm answering questions for. So it takes a little while to get to them all. And please, if you do send me a question after the hour is done, please make sure it reaches me before 9 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern time. And also, if you don't mind, allow about 2 weeks for me to get to all of them, because it takes a while for me to get through all of them. Okay. I also have a couple of announcements I'd like to make this evening. They're pretty much on the board here on this screen, but if you follow along with me, I'm going to start over here on the right side at the top. Folks, I'm assuming you've all been to my website because that's how you signed up for the Psychic Hour, but write it down so you'll always be able to find it. And I'm sure that you have joined my newsletter. And as soon as you joined my newsletter, two things happened. One is that you got the opportunity to download my app to your either computer, smartphone, iPad, tablet, whatever you use. I strongly remember or recommend downloading the app, because we have so much going on with our computer world in today's world that the apps are very often more solid than even your computer is. So if you have the app, you'll always be able to access everything that's on my website, including these psychic hours. Also, when you sign up for the newsletter and joined to get into signing up for tonight's session, you also automatically got an invite to our open forum. Folks, not everybody seems to know about that. It's not getting as much use as I really would like to see it get. I know that everyone who follows me and who is my student, my colleague, you folks all have your own psychic issues, your psychic abilities, the things you want to know about in your own life, things that come up that you want to talk to somebody about. And the psychic world is a world that isn't, it's still, even today, is not as widely accepted in the world at large as I'd like it to be. It's often hard to find someone to talk to. That's what our open community is all about. Folks, if you join, just go on. If you have signed up for my newsletter, you're automatically a member of that open community. It's in your library. You just have to click on library and you'll see it there. And if you go into that open forum, open community, you're going to be able to type anything that you've had trouble with, that you want information on, that you have an experience with, all the things in the psychic, astrological, tarot, you name it, this whole metaphysical world. This is a place where you can meet like-minded people in a safe environment. This isn't Facebook, it's private. The only people who have access to it are Lisa and I, who moderate it. So it's a safe place to involve with other people who are like you, looking for a community to belong to. So go ahead and check it out when you have a chance. Okay, it's free to belong. No money is exchanged hands for that. It's for you. And you can also tell me what you think about the psychic hour. Okay, I love to read what people talk about there. And also in my newsletter this month, I hope that you did sign up for it. And in my newsletter, my editorial this month talks about something coming up that I think is very, very important. As an astrologer, I'm particularly interested in the fact that Pluto, which is currently our outermost planet, astronomers have demoted it and said it's not a planet anymore, but it goes around the sun and follows a planetary orbit. Folks, it's a planet. That Pluto is moving from Capricorn, where it's been for something like 17 or 18 years, and it's moving into the sign Aquarius, where it's going to be for somewhere between 19 and 20 years. And it's going to do that on March 23rd. So it's coming up really soon, okay? And it's going to spend between March 23rd and June 2nd, moving direct into this new sign of Aquarius. And folks, please keep a diary. I'm telling you this here, I'm telling you that in my newsletter. Keep a diary, like a journal, between March 24th and June 2nd, because all the things that go on in your life then and that go on in the world, we're getting a window, a glimpse, coming attractions, a movie trailer into the next 19 years of life on planet Earth for you, okay? So keep that journal. And I would love for you to become active in my open forum and tell me what you think is coming up. Fill us in. What kind of good things are happening in your journal? Keep your Pluto journal and share it on that forum. I would be so excited to see that. So also, if you missed my webinar, moving down here, see my cursor? What's happening in 2023? I gave that webinar last December. And if you missed it, but you would like to connect with it, that's still for sale on my website. It's only $25. And I honestly, if you are looking at the world the way most of us are and are a little bit confused or shocked at some of the things that are going on, take a look at that webinar, listen to it. It's video like this is, watch it, and I think you'll be glad that you did. It'll probably set your mind to rest and you will not think you're crazy, okay? If you're a VIP, and I know a lot of you are here on the call with me tonight, VIPs, make a note, your next coaching call is April 13th of 2023, 7 p.m. And everyone who's here, make a note that the next psychic hour, and what we hear in the left-hand lower corner, is going to be on March 26th of 2023. So please make a note of that and sign up for it, because these seminars do fill up. We get a lot of people, and if you want to make sure you don't get bumped, it's a good idea to come in early when you register, and also to get registered early. And finally, here are my specials. Giving you February specials. I know you already know them, but we have still half the month to go in February, so you can take advantage of these. Celebrate Valentine's Day with a special reading. I know it's past, but I'm still honoring it till the end of this month. This reading is by me and my guides for you and your soulmate, your life partner, or any other person that you'd like to explore your relationship with. And there's a half hour available for $300, or an hour-long reading available for $550. Now, if you get that reading, it's a wonderful relationship reading. It's not the same as the relationship reading that's on my website. It goes much deeper, and it's much more tailored to you. And it will involve um, and depending on the relationship, it will involve anything from your love life to your compatibility to your ability to face the future together, to go through life's ups and downs and changes that are happening right now. You can have your partner with you, or you can just get it alone, make a tape of it. I will record everything for you and then share it with your partner or your beloved after that. So this is going to be a great reading for you, and it still is available all the way until the end of February. Now, we're also offering a personal computerized astrological spiritual path report during February up through the 29th. And if you order this, it's on my website for sale. The cost is only $30, $29.95. Be sure you include your birthday, birth time, and place of birth so that we can print this out and send it to you. And it's a really complete report. It's beautiful. It's our favorite report, and it's the one that most people order from us. So they do for a reason, because it's really, really good. Now, what's coming up in March? A lot of you who have had readings with me realize that my guides and I together are far more than just a predictive psychic. Mostly on these psychic hours, you get the predictive psychic aspect, but we're absolutely phenomenal life coaches together. We can get into the deepest things that you need to know and work through and learn from that are going to get you through life's ups and downs and the crazy things, especially that are going on in our world right now. So we decided, my guides and I, that in March we're going to be offering a special called Finding Your Right Path. It's the same price as my regular readings. So you can go into my website, and on the readings page, just click where it says targeted readings and pay for that. And when Lisa contacts you to set up the reading, you just tell her, I want the March special, and that's the Finding Your Right Path special. And again, this reading is going to be different for everybody, because we're going to be using astrology and tarot and clairvoyance and channeling to be able to focus in exactly what the things are that you need to be aware of in your life right now, that need to be worked through, whatever the issues are, in order that you can take your next step towards leading a healthier and happier life. And that is a combination of my future-oriented psychic gift and coaching. So it's a combination of both that you're getting in that reading. Very, very special. A very special. So the extra special offer I'm giving, if you buy the reading coaching special, you can get my March reading coaching psychic protection tips MP4. Actually, it's not reading coaching, it's my psychic protection tips MP4 program. It's a video program at half price. Folks, that video program isn't expensive to begin with. So if you don't want to get the reading and you just want to get the video program, you can get that for only $49. But if you get the reading coaching special, you can get this psychic protection tips program that's dripped down to you, one tip a week, so that you can really, really get into it and understand it and really benefit from it. And it's only going to cost you $24.50 if you do it as an add-on. So that's a really, really good deal. It's half price. And I'm also offering something I've never done before. I'm sure a lot of you immediately, your eye went to the bottom. There's a red strip here on the bottom. You can get my Beginner's Tarot MP4 video course right now. Well, not right now, but all through March, from March 1st to March 31st, for 30% off. And I don't believe I've ever offered it at this kind of a discount before. It's normally a $297 program, and all during the month of March, you're going to get $89 off of that. So that's a really, it's a discount to take notice of. It's a really good discount. So if you have ever wanted to learn to tell the future yourself, tarot cards is probably the best way to work with that. You see me right here shuffling them. I work with the tarot cards every time we do a psychic hour. Folks, I think that's one of the best tarot courses available. It's on video. It comes with my tarot readers workbook, which is a downloadable. It gives you your own whole complete program with each individual class and all the handouts, the book, and you name it, visuals, and the whole video. And there it is in your library. So as soon as you pay for it, it appears in your library like that. At any rate, that program is going to be on sale for you all through March. Okay, I'm ready to jump into doing some readings for you folks. Folks, a few of you, this happens every time we meet, a few of you did try to send me information. I'm aware of this, questions before the psychic hour. Folks, I can't even look at them. I see them, I send them through to Lisa, and I say, Lisa, if the gal is on or the guy is on the psychic hour and they raise their hand, you might want to call on them. But that's the best I can do. I do not look at them. I can't, because if I look at one of those questions you're asking me before the hour, I'm funneling my guides into that one person instead of for all of you that are on the call. I actually cannot do that. I will look at all of your emails afterwards, whoever has a question who didn't get covered, but never before. So don't send me them beforehand, okay? Okay, Lisa, who's our first person who would like their tarot and their astrology talked about this evening? What's coming up for them?
Excuse me. Well, tonight's psychic hour is going to start with Brandon. Brandon, can you unmute?
Hello, hello.
Hi, Brandon. You are a breath of fresh air. It's really good to hear your voice. It's been a while.
It has been a while. So let's see here. So my name is Brandon. I'm an Aries, and I'm calling from Rancho Cucamonga, California, formerly a Florida resident, and a former truck driver. And my question is, of course, probably.
Wait. Gotta hold up on a
Oh,
minute.
sorry.
What are you most grateful for right now?
Ugh. You know, I
What's good? What's really good?
Well, there's a lot that's good. The sun rises every day, and that's good. My tax return, that was great.
See, there are always good things. I know I got you guys. You know, it's really important, folks. If you saw my home where I live, it's almost ludicrous because every room, every table, somewhere has something relative to gratitude. Be grateful, be thankful. You know, dream dreams of gratitude. I've got these all over the house because it's a subliminal suggestion to constantly be looking at the positive things around me. So important to do that, Brandon.
I do have small things like that. I started probably about a year ago collecting things from certain type of crystals to yin and yang and the mandala, and just little knickknacks like that.
Very good. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about Aries, and we'll get to the question in a moment. Folks, the way I work, because I work with a horary chart. Brandon, while I'm talking, could you close your mic off? We're getting a squeak, some feedback from it. Okay. Whenever we are doing these, sessions, I do a horary chart, which gives everyone insight. And by doing this, every single person who's on the call, who's listening, is going to get information for themselves, even when I'm reading Brandon. So please listen to what I'm talking about with Brandon, because it's going to be talking to you too, okay? First of all, if you're an Aries, a Libra, a Cancer, or a Capricorn, that makes you a cardinal sign. So all the things I'm going to say about Brandon, who's an Aries, if you're one of those cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, those things are going to apply to you somewhere in your life as well. And even if you're not a cardinal sun sign, you very likely have some cardinal energy somewhere in your life. And so a lot of these things are going to apply to you as well. My guides listen to everyone on the call. And if you're thinking of a question, they're likely to scoop the answer into you, even though you didn't get a chance to ask it. It's really interesting how they work. So here's Brandon. He's an Aries. And, this has 7 degrees of Aries on the cusp. And his sun happens to fall in the house of relationship. Why is that not a surprise, Brandon? Okay. And the first 6 degrees of the sign happen in the everyday life. Okay. It has to do with health. It has to do with everyday life, the basic routine. And we have Venus tonight at 29 Pisces 24. It's almost not quite, but almost into Aries. So we're going to almost count that. It's like 12 degrees away from Aries. We're going to count that as being in Aries. And so, you know, we have Brandon looking at his relationship, probably several relationships, because Jupiter multiplies things. And we have him saying, you know, I really like living here, but I really feel pulled in two directions. There could be another partner or friend that he's interested in, or that he's had a good relationship with, who's in another locality. He also might have, Venus is feminine, he might have a female who's important to him and his family, who's got some health problems, who maybe lives all the way back in Florida where he used to live. The thing is, he's got something pulling him back towards the past here. And because of him being where he is, which is for him is in California, he can't see on a day-to-day basis how that person is doing. That's because Neptune's in here with it. Neptune tends to hide whatever it touches. So he's like, you know, I'm getting on with life, and life is good, but I really worry about all this other stuff that's happening that I can't help with and that I feel responsible for. Now, looking at his relationship, this is the thing that's most important to him in the whole wide world right now. It's like, is this where I want to be? We could accomplish so much together. We could do so much together. This is a healing relationship for me. I don't know if you are a healer, Brandon, or if your friend is involved in the healing, but I do know that whatever the relationship is that you are in, it's a healing relationship for both of you. And yet these issues keep pulling one or both of you back towards the past. And so there are some things here that have to get resolved. Folks, this should be sounding very familiar to a lot of you, especially if you're an Aries, a Libra, a Cancer, or a Capricorn. Now, if you're a Capricorn, we're going to also throw in that there's a whole lot of manipulation and control happening from the greater family. And it may very well be that, and by the way, if you're an Aries, you're feeling that too, Brendan. It may be that some of these feelings that you have of obligation and responsibility and real concern about people you love, that's pulling you towards the past. Some of it may actually be manipulations by family members or close friends who feel like family. And there also might be, never mind in the manipulation stuff, there might actually be somebody around you who's got a chronic condition or chronic health problem that has you very, very concerned. So you get kind of pulled in two different directions, being between helping in a healing sense and being where you really want to be in your life. Now, if you're a Libra, all this stuff, see the ascendant tonight is in Libra. If you're a Libra, all this stuff that's going on is being very beneficial and very healthy for you. So things with the family might involve, you know, manipulation and control games or concern about health issues, but you seem to be thriving on it. As a matter of fact, it seems to be helping you to move towards a career goal or to embrace your greater life aspirations, or maybe to gain some insight into exactly where you need to be and where you belong in life. So Brandon, a little bit of all those things is going to be affecting you because of your being in Aries. And each one of the other cardinal signs is also being affected by all those things too. Brandon, how am I doing? You got to unmute yourself. You forgot.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
That was very, very spot on, especially when it hit on aspects of relationships and people and how they interact with me. That is very, very accurate.
Isn't it nice to know that you're living life pretty much exactly according to plan, you know? And the real key is to take the plan and lift it to, you know, all plans have multiple layers. They have the bottommost layer, which usually feels like a trap, or like we're reacting to life instead of leading life. And
Yes.
then there are layers. There are different ways that you can handle the plan, handle the things that come into life. All you have to do is become aware of them. And then you simply decide which things you're going to respond to, which things you're going to change your response patterns, and all of a sudden life starts to get to be the life that you want to live. So, what's your specific, simple question?
Well, my question originally was going to be actually something completely a little different. So I'm thinking about putting my application for uh, two separate unions. And I remember you said I would be driving, but differently. And I'm just curious if you'd still see it that way, or if I would still have what I want, which is just to go straight into the crane operating with that union. Either way, my CDL would still be utilized, just differently.
Yes,
So
it's still
it's just
driving, but driving differently, because if you're driving a crane, it's a very different kind of driving than if you're driving an over-the-road truck.
right.
My guides are, you know, my guides are saying, yes, you are very confused. And by the way, here's where the past stuff comes back and the relationship stuff comes back, because you've been in this exact same position before, where you
Yes.
wanted to do something, but your partner felt you should be doing something else. And I think you probably went with what the partner wanted you to do. And that's the reason why you're being given the choice all over again. Okay. Apparently you never let go of the desire. So the universe is still bringing that desire to you, which is good. Okay. At any rate, my guides think you're going to go for the crane operator.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds fun to me.
Do you see a timeline on that?
There may be a little bit of a ruckus in your relationship because of that, because
Mhm.
apparently your lifestyle changes when you're a crane operator as opposed to when you are a truck driver. And just for, I'm giving this information is coming from my guides, folks, but this is the kind of information that they give me. They're saying that as a crane operator, you don't travel as much, but you do travel for longer. So I guess what they're saying is that, you might be operating a train, in this part of California, but that project is going to go on for 6 months. So you have to live there
Right.
for 6 months, okay?
Yep.
Whereas when you're doing the over-the-road driving, you could be home every weekend, you just drive and then you come home. So
Right.
you can understand why there could be some relationship issues involved with that choice, because that choice really satisfies a desire that you've had for a very long time.
Yep.
And Brandon, I think you're going to do it. I think it's important enough to you. It's come back all these times, and you keep sacrificing it for your relationship. And maybe you and your partner can come to some kind of terms with that, and make it something which is going to be beneficial for both of you.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah.
Good. So you're going to have to get back to me and let me know how all that works out. And
That I
I
will.
feel that, the big thing with the which one you're going to choose, other than the fact that there's a problem with the timing sometimes, is that there is also going to be a money difference. Okay. The
Mm-hmm.
finances are not the same. I'm not sure if the crane operator makes more money or less money, but I do know that it's something that has to be looked at. And also the company you work for has to be looked at carefully before you make that transition. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Pay attention to the money, and remember, negotiation happens best before you have the job.
True.
Good luck. It's wonderful to speak with you again.
Thank you. It was good hearing from you, Asa.
Likewise. And Lisa, who's next on our list?
All righty, the second person with their little hand raised is Angela. Angela, can you unmute?
Yes.
Hey
Can you
there,
hear me?
Angela. I can.
Hi, well, I'm Angela, and I'm from the Tampa, Florida area. And I'm an Aquarius. And I'm grateful for many things, but I think right now the most thing is just the fact that I'm feeling peaceful and I actually want to be in it for a change.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, looking at the chart, let's start there. As an Aquarian, your sun is going to be on the 5th house. Mute your mic just while I'm speaking. I don't know why tonight we're getting feedback from the other mics when they're open, but when I'm talking and your mic is open, there's a little feedback happening on the site. So anyway, as soon as I'm done, I'll remind you to unmute. Okay, if you're an Aquarian like Angela, or if you're a Taurus, a Scorpio, or a Leo, what I'm about to say is going to affect you. Okay, so Angela's cusp of the chart is here on what we call the 5th house. Now, the 5th house in astrology has to do with children, but also your creations, because when you create something, it's like you gave birth to it. It also is the house of romance. Now, that doesn't mean marriage. It doesn't mean sex. It means romance, okay? The kind of nice thing that happens around Valentine's Day, supposedly or hopefully, okay? And it also has to do with how you play, teams that you might belong to, things that you want to physically get into and do, literally play, get together with a group of people and go boating. It's that kind of energy in that fifth house. And one last thing, it has to do with anything that you do that you're kind of taking a chance on. It's the house where we take chances. And so it's funny to have an Aquarius here because, Aquarius, the sign Aquarius is not a chance taker. It's what we call a fixed sign. As a matter of fact, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo are all fixed signs, and they're usually not willing to take a chance unless the money's already in the bank, so to speak. But guess what, Angela, you might really, in your life right now, even in spite of the fact that the moon and Saturn are together at the same degree in this house, you see that? They're both at 28 degrees. Talk about that. That's like resistance personified. I do not want to change, but boy, oh boy, I really want that thing, and I want that experience, and I want to go there, and I want to, but no, 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 do not make me change or let go of anything. So there's obviously going to be a little bit of a, a push-pull going on here because there's something in your life that you really want to embrace, that you really want to move forward with, and every fiber of your being is saying, no, don't make any shifts. Don't upset the, apple cart. And the rest of you is saying, but I need to do this. I want to do this. This is so great. Okay. Now, Angela, if you have children, like physical live children, you might also be seeing them this month. And in fact, fairly soon, you might have some issue going on with one of them that needs resolution, or that one might be doing something special in life, like graduating school or going off to college or getting a new job. There's a lot of responsibility around your children right now. You also might begin getting a new job yourself, which is very creative, but also entails a lot of responsibility. See, right now, there's just a plain a lot of responsibility around you. And you're that gal who has to finish and deals and really take on and handle that responsibility before you let yourself move on. Okay, so we do have a little bit of a quandary, a little bit of a push-pull going on here. What do I really want in life, and how much am I willing to sacrifice to get it? There are great opportunities, but are they good for me right now? Because this also makes a hard aspect to Taurus, and in Taurus, remember the other fixed sign, or one of them, we have Uranus and North Node. So you've got some great opportunities, some great offers, and some of them have to do with finances and improving finances. The thing is that you have to make that decision about, do I want to change? Do I want to give something up? Do I want to make that shift in order to embrace some of those opportunities? Because I can't really see the opportunity really clearly. I can't be sure of it. And there's always that feeling, I don't want to move forward unless I can be sure of the outcome. And right now, there's not a feeling of real security in what could be coming. There are ups and downs around you financially. In fact, if you're any of the fixed signs, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, there are lots of ups and downs financially, but tremendous opportunities right now. And you've got to learn to trust your own inner self and your gut in moving forward into those opportunities if you're going to make them work for you. A lot of these opportunities aren't going to come back again. It won't be like Brandon's crane operator that came back again. Most of these opportunities are here for the short term. And if you don't pick them up now, they come, they get offered, then they're gone. Something that you have done in the past is going to come back again as an opportunity. You are going to be able to build on it, to maybe build a very creative, lucrative business. But again, there's that feeling of, I need to take a chance if I'm going to do it. I also am seeing changes happen in your friends. And this happens, again, this is all the fixed signs, the Taurians, Scorpios, Aquarians, and Leos. A lot of changes, old friends moving out of your life, new friends coming in, relationships with friends you've been connected to for a long time. Even if they stay connected with you, those relationships have to undergo a shift. New people are coming in, people are leaving, and as a result, you can't relate to those people the same way anymore. And so again, all this is hard for you because as an Aquarian, you don't really change all that well. And let me just share this. Pluto's about to move into your sun sign. Remember I said that at the beginning of the call? On March 24th, it makes its first ingress into Aquarius. This planet takes more than 280 years to go around the sun once. It's a slow-moving planet that's going to be in Aquarius for between 19 and 23 years. It's 19 years steady, and then up until the remainder of that 23 years, back and forth between Aquarius and the next sign that'll be going into. So you have all that time to do what Pluto does, which is to transform, to revolutionize, to change everything it touches. Okay, so change is inevitable. You don't have to do it all at once, though. Okay, go ahead and unmute. How am I doing?
Pretty good. Picked up some things. I know that's going on with my younger son with his job. I'm expecting him to get a letter from Delta for employment. And
He's, you know, we keep him waiting.
oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
They are keeping him waiting. He will get the letter, but I don't have good feelings about it. It may not be what he really wants, or it may be that there's a delay in it. There's something that's not going to happen exactly the way he wants there. I get a 3, though. That could mean the letter comes in 3 days or 3 weeks, so he's going to hear something.
Yeah. I know he's been wanting to come back out here to Florida. He's in Georgia, but I don't think that's happening.
When I ask, will he be able to move back to Florida? I'm getting I'm going to show you what I got. The card is the Lovers, which is actually a card that talks about choice. So ultimately, it's going to be his choice whether he wants to come to Florida or not. But he may not be able to get back to Florida the way he wants to. He might have to make a shift in what he's doing.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was it. I mean, I've been feeling the changes I kept feeling another job was going to be coming in for me. So,
Yeah. And you know, don't sell yourself short. There could be another job, but honestly, I look at the way this is situated, and you have so much to offer and so much to give, and you're so incredibly creative. Think about what kind of money you could be making running your own business. Okay, all the things you do for someone else, what could you do if you ran it for yourself? Give some thought to that.
yeah, because I'm doing 4 jobs right now. Working as a realtor, managing an apartment complex. I deliver food. I make jewelry. I've been wanting to probably set up a table doing healing, working for tips to get that up and going out in the local parks.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
obviously you're very eclectic. You can do a lot of different things, but I think what's happening is you're little by little getting pulled more towards one specific thing. You may end up doing 2 things. One thing that is a primary job that's going to put bread on the table, bring the money in, and then the second thing that fulfills your need to be creative. So that's the big thing. You've been having trouble settling into only one job because you have so much creativity, and in most of the jobs out there, it caps it.
yeah, I get bored. I mean, I get so bored with jobs. And it was funny. I was telling someone the other day after I got the apartment. I live where I manage an apartment complex. After I got the apartment all set up, I said, "Well, now it's time for me to move." I said, "Because every time I do that, it's time to move."
Yeah, so it makes you not want to finish things, right?
Well, now I finished this, and now I know it's time to move.
Yeah, it sounds like you're ready for some changes. You don't like them necessarily, but you're ready for them. And believe me, they're going to be coming and they're going to be sweeping. They will ultimately affect every aspect of your life. It'll affect your primary relationship, the way you're living, all of the friends and relatives around you, your dreams of what you want to be when you grow up. Don't you love it?
I know, I'm almost 50 and I still figured that one out.
Well, what's wrong with that, you know?
Well, why figure it out?
Well, thank you very, very much for letting me read you
Thank
and
you.
share all this great stuff that you brought, this great energy you brought in with everybody else. So thank you so very much.
Welcome. Thank you.
And Lisa, who's next?
Our third victim for tonight is going to be Laura. Laura, you're unmuted.
Hello.
Hi, Cindy. Thank you very much for taking my call. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And I was just awestruck by your voice. I'm very tuned into voices because I'm an empath, and empaths have almost all empaths are clairaudient. It goes with it. And your voice is so incredibly familiar to me. A very good friend of mine who was a radio announcer had a voice very similar to yours. So I'm in love with your voice. Absolutely love it. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay. And what sign are you?
I'm a Sagittarius.
Okay, so locating you in the chart, here you are down here in the third house, which talks about communication skills, the voice, just like we were talking about. And it also talks about siblings, friends, sisters and brothers, but all kinds of education, especially foundation type of education, things that you learn, things that you can, it's like you learn it, you want to share it with everybody else, that kind of thing. So, and by the way, if you are listening and you're either a Sagittarian, a Gemini, look at that little old Mars sticking the pin in Gemini right now, a Pisces, with Venus and Neptune here, or a Virgo. If you're any one of those signs, you are a mutable sign, like me, I'm a Gemini. And so all the things I'm talking to her about are going to be affecting you as well. So if you wouldn't mind just, cover your mic or mute your mic for a minute, because again, we're getting that feedback and it's easier on people's ears if they don't hear that in the background. So we know that if you're looking for a job or involved with a job, that job for you is going to do best if it's involving some form of communication, because you are an excellent communicator. This Mars up here is stimulating. Notice I say, I was kidding around when I said it's sticking the pin in Geminis. It really is, because I'm one and I know. Okay, but it also is activating. Think of Mars as an activation. It's activating all kinds of opportunities for you. That might be long distance, things like travel, things like maybe getting together with friends or relatives that you haven't seen for a long time because they're either a long way away or because they have jobs or whatever that have kept them away from being able to connect with you. And it also is getting you to really pay attention to your intuition. All of these houses together, the way they're all set up, these signs, they're talking about developing your intuitive ability, developing self-trust, having been burned maybe too many times in relationships with friends, with the system, like the health system, having trusted and then found out that things were wrong or misread or told you wrong or somebody out and out lied. So there've been a lot of things happening around you, not just now, but over the last few years that have been very eye-opening, but also kind of deflating, okay? And the thing is that you're learning that your intuition, when you feel something, is right on, aren't you? When you know something about somebody, later on you find out, yes, that was true. So you're really learning to trust yourself, to follow your own advice, to follow your own insight, your own intuition, not somebody else's, not even mine, okay? You're learning to trust you. And in the process of doing that, look at this Virgo on the house of the unconscious. You're really getting to know yourself a whole lot better. It's interesting because Sagittarius is not known for being an internally directed sign, but over the last couple of years, I think you have found yourself being very internally directed and thinking to yourself, what does all this mean that's going on in the world? What's going on in my life? How does this affect my future? But things where you used to just respond and act, and now you're doing a lot of deep thinking about it. And your friends might like it or not like it, but I definitely am seeing travel in front of you. Matter of fact, there are going to be probably 2 trips. And I do think I see a change in job coming up. I think you might be considering that right now. Like, do I really want to stay or not stay? You have reasons for staying, like we all do, but you also have reasons for going. And I also see you very concerned about things that are going on either in the health field or with your health or with somebody you're concerned with their health. And that's going to be one of the motivating factors in your moving. And I'm just hearing that word moving, and I don't know if that means moving your residence or moving your business or moving your job, but moving is the word they're giving me. Okay, unmute your mic and come on back on and give me some feedback and ask me your question.
Wow, so you're very on the money on so many things. I took notes as you were going. You started with the job as a communicator, And you're right on the money. I'm a psychologist, so that's what I do. The opportunities in travel coming up, I do have 2 trips, one planned and one just forming this weekend, actually.
That sounds great.
The deflating events over the past couple of years, I can identify, and how I didn't listen to my intuition enough then. And I certainly have been learning a lot more over the past few years that way and finding my voice. The moving, what you were saying at the end with moving and health concerns, I've had some health concerns, and one of the trips, I'm going to be in Florida for a couple of months because part of my issue is allergy related. So I'm thinking I need to move from where I am for health reasons.
Yeah, that makes sense. By the way, I love these charts. And so these classes, these psychic hours become a little bit of an astrology lesson too. Neptune rules airborne illnesses and allergies. And here it is in the house of health, in a mutable sign. That's one of the signs we're talking about relative to yourself. Isn't that cool? Okay, there it is. I love when the chart talks to you and when it's accurate. I didn't say that, but there it is. What's interesting about this, by the way, is it also says that there may be something that you enjoy eating or drinking or doing, but it's something which is a fun enjoyment thing that is really at the root of the allergies that you've been suffering with.
I've been trying to figure out what that is.
Yeah, and the first thing that comes to my mind, and you know, I hate to preach, but you're about to hear, folks, okay? All the way back when I was, oh my God, in my 30s, I went to see psychic medium George. What is his last name? Psychic George. That's all they ever called him. At any rate, this guy was well known all over the planet, brilliant. He still is around out there somewhere. If you ever hear of him, go, and he doesn't make public appearances, and he's very expensive, but he's amazing. At any rate, I went to see him, and I had just cut sugar out of my life because my guides told me sugar is toxic for you. You can't eat sugar. And I went to see Psychic George, and he says, you know, I don't get any dead people around you, but there's somebody straight up over your head, which would have been one of my guides, who's showing me a jar of honey with a big X over it. And I laughed because I had substituted honey for the sugar. and it was just the cutest thing. At any rate, what I have found for myself is that I love sugar. I'm a sugar addict, okay?
Yeah, me too.
But sugar is really the root of all evils because
It's inflammatory.
Yeah, well, it's addictive. It's a drug. My guides have told me sugar is a drug, and you need to treat it with respect. Treat it like a drug, because when you eat it to the extreme, you get a flush of candida that everybody knows about, and everybody thinks, okay, well, I can get rid of candida with the right antibiotics and blah 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 blah, and that is not true. Once you have candida, you've got candida forever. It's in your system, and if you overeat on sugar, you get a bloom. And that'll kill your sinuses, it'll kill your lymphatic system, it'll kill your intestines, and I could go on and on and on. So the moral of the story is, don't eat sugar. Anyway, that's a good possibility that that's what it is, because of the connection to, I explained this in Brendan's reading way back when, at the beginning of the session, where this house ties into this house because of the Venus being basically 30 Pisces, which is the same thing as 0 Aries, so it ties in. Well, Jupiter rules sugar. Okay, that's the if you're going to put a planet on sugar, it would be Jupiter. Okay, so there it is, right there. Okay, at any rate, it's something to look into at any rate. And remember, don't listen to your own intuition.
I will listen. Yeah, it's funny. I've switched to honey and a little bit of dark chocolate, but I've reduced a lot of the at least processed sugar. Exactly.
Honey is not a viable. There's nothing wrong with honey, but if you think to substitute honey for sugar, you're lying to yourself. My guides told me, folks, you're all going to hate me. If it tastes sweet, it has sugar in it. Period. I don't care whether they're calling it this fake thing or that fake thing. If it tastes sweet, there's sugar. And just, hey, listen, if you want to eat sugar, but don't lie to yourself. Okay. And a dietitian I worked with for a while told me, Sadie, there's nothing wrong with that, but just don't make this stuff a part of your daily diet. If you're going to have something like ice cream or chocolate candy, that's a treat. And it should be treated like a treat, not part of your eating plan.
Okay. Thank
So,
you.
yeah, I'm done with my lecturing. Food is one of those very personal things. We all have to find our own way through, don't we? So, but I think that, hey, I would love for you to move into Florida. I love Florida. It's great down here. But your problem might not just be that. It may be connected to an allergy of food or something you're enjoying. And there's
Okay.
something that's kind of important too. You also, I don't know where you're living right now, but you have to live near water, and especially salt water. Neptune
Yes.
rules water and Pisces rules water. And here it is in the house of everyday life. You require water around you in order to be healthy. Okay, and that might also be one of the reasons you're being attracted to Florida. And salt water will be the best for you because that salt air will clear everything out.
I will be right on the beach, so I'm heading in the right direction then. My
Yeah.
intuition served me well also. Good.
Yep. Hey, thank you so much for being one of our guinea pigs this evening. That was
Cindy,
great.
can I ask you a quick question about my son?
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay? Thank you. My son Ben is a junior in college. He's on the autism spectrum. He's applying for summer internships, and I'm wondering if you have a sense that he'll be offered one. Any
Yeah,
idea of a company or where geographically?
he'll be fine. He'll be fine. I want to tell you something about your son. Okay.
Okay.
Let's not call him autistic. Let's
Okay.
find a new word. Let him pick it out. Okay. Let's not even call him the borderline autistic.
Yeah, he doesn't like that.
Yeah, well, he's smart. He's right. Okay. The school system wants to, especially the old school system, everything is being changed right now, and that's a good thing. But the school system has always wanted to funnel our children into these restrictive little straitjackets. Everybody has to think the same way and regurgitate the same information and walk around like the same little soldiers. Okay. And your son is not ever going to do that. That's not who he is. Okay.
Yeah.
He has, this is the house of children. This is your child. You have Aquarius on the cusp. Your son is the original space cadet. He's very, he channels, for God's sake. Okay. I look back at my own childhood and, back when I was in school, which was, oh God, I graduated high school in 1970 and college in 1973. I'm giving away my age. Okay. And when I was back there, honest to God, if I was in today's world, they would have called me autistic.
Mm-hmm.
And back then I had no idea that I was psychic because, psychic, you only whispered in dark, hallways about psychic things. Nothing in the psychic world was out there in the open. And I used to walk out of a classroom and be so overwhelmed by the press of energy in the hallways.
Mm-hmm.
I would freeze. I couldn't find the next class. So I learned to make excuses. I would talk to the teacher for a little while after the class so that when I walked through the hall, he'd give me a pass and then I could walk through the hall empty. Okay. I had no idea that I was wanting to vomit because I was empathic and feeling all that energy. This is who your son is. Your son is incredibly psychic. He's intuitive. He's creative. He thinks out of the box. He gets faulted because he has answers that he can't prove. They want to see all the work. They want him to take the whole way around. Why should he bother? He has the answer. Okay. So bottom line is he just doesn't fit into the school system. He's going to do beautifully when he gets outside of the school system and he gets away from their straitjackets.
Do you feel like he'll get an internship for this summer?
I do think he will, yes. On the other hand, I've got to tell you, I don't think, well, the internship he wants, he doesn't have, he needs more education for. So he's going to end up having to take something that's other than what he wants. And you know how he is, if it's not what he wants, he doesn't really apply himself.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not going to pass judgment on that because I would have done the same thing. But tell him that if he wants to eventually get what he wants, he is going to have to take what he can get and apply himself and think of it as a first step on the ladder.
Okay.
Okay. Because he can get what he wants, but it probably isn't the first time out.
Okay. But you feel like he will get something if he's looking for it this summer?
Yes. But
Awesome.
again, I want to say, don't tell him to not be too picky, because you
Okay.
see what he wants. They either want a different education or they want more education. You follow?
Mhm.
And he's
Mhm.
not there yet. He's just not there yet.
Okay.
And if he takes the one that he doesn't like, that has the straight jacket and doesn't give him the freedom he wants, it will be the stepping stone he needs.
Okay. Any
Okay?
idea of geographic region, state, or anything like that that he'll be in?
I see water around him, and I think if you move to Florida, he's going to be happy as a pig and you know what.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I think I may have time for one more caller if I move fast. So Lisa, who's next?
Okay, our next caller is going to be Kathy. Kathy, can you unmute? Well, Kathy just put her hand down, so maybe she's decided she didn't want to talk.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's go down here then to,
Either that or she's trying to figure out how to open her mic and can't and mistook the hand for it. Want to give her another minute? Kathy, press the microphone button. It's an orange button with a line across it. Press it. She must be lost. Okay, let's find our next
well,
person.
her hand came back up though, so.
Yeah, you know what it is?
She's on. There she is.
I feel like I'm so sorry. I feel like I probably panicked and I was just pushing it too many times.
Yep,
Thank you for taking my call.
you're welcome.
Okay. All right, so my name is Kathy. I am calling from Willis, Texas, and I am a Cancer.
Awesome.
And do you want my question?
Let's hang on off on the question for a moment. Kathy, we're back to those cardinal signs. Cancer happens to be the one at the top of the chart, which talks all about career. So I don't know if you've got questions about your career or if your aspirations are things that you want to know if you're ever going to achieve whatever your desires are. And Cancer is the sign of family. So you're always concerned with the aspirations and the direction people in your family are going as well. But this house talks about your future as far as where you're going to be living, where you're going to be working, what kind of work you're going to be doing. So I have a feeling your questions are going to be pretty broad. And of course, Cancer is that cardinal sign. We have Capricorn where it opposes, that's affecting you too. So there are, even though you want to make some big changes in terms of where you're living and your family and your job, you've got those responsibilities, taking care of someone at home maybe, or somebody at home who is very dependent upon you. And you also are having, oh God, all kinds of things opening up with relationships that have to do with you and your partner, but also people around you that are making themselves available to help you in so many different ways. And so you're learning to reach out to people and say, I could do this, I could do that. This should be my time, but we do have that responsibility at home that's kind of been getting in your way. Your time is coming though, because that Pluto, remember, is getting ready to move out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. So please keep that diary between March 24th and June 2nd, because that's going to show you where you can go and it's going to show you the right path to get there. So what is your simple question?
Oh my gosh, I could just cry because yes, you've hit on everything. So my simple question would be, yeah, I am looking for something and I don't know what it is. I have changed jobs, I've changed states, I've left my husband in a different state, and I feel like I don't know what it is, that I need something, but I don't know what it is, and it's making me crazy.
Well, and part of that, I'm sorry, I'm going to do this woo-woo thing, okay? A big part of that is that you are very, very intuitive, okay? Goes with, being a water sign for one. But also right now, the whole world is evolving in a way it's never been before, and people are getting more sensitive and more empathic, and you are feeling inside of you that you need to be ready for this change, and you're getting ready for it. Problem is you're moving a little too fast, you see? It's like isn't it interesting? The gal I spoke with before, I said, you've got all this resistance to the change you want, and so it takes longer. Well, you don't have any resistance at all. It's like, let's go. But you're ahead of it. You're ahead of it. And I kind of laughed to myself because that's been the story of my life. I was doing things, I mean, I was teaching classes in psychic development online long before the pandemic, and long before anybody else even thought about taking classes online. Okay, and that's where you're at right now. You're kind of like not just at the head of the pack, you know, you're 2 years past that. Okay. Which doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. You're doing all the prep work. You're putting yourself in the right space to be able to move forward. And your problem is you're looking around, you're saying, well, I made all these changes. I followed everything that my inner self, my guides was saying I should be doing, but the thing I'm supposed to be doing didn't come along. What's up with that? Okay. And now's the time when you have to be patient. And one of the things that cardinal signs are really horrible at is being patient. My cursor is moving, you see, to Cancer, to Aries, to Capricorn, to Libra. You guys really have a problem with patience. Okay. And now let's talk for a moment just about the whole, you know, left your husband behind, moved to the new state thing. Okay. That's, I'm sorry, you opened your mouth, so I'm going to pursue it. But believe it or not, there's a lot of healing going on here. Okay, your move to a different state might have been the very best thing you could have done for that relationship. Okay, and I think that you know, a whole lot of things that weren't right in your life, you were blaming on him. Okay, and now that you've got that degree of separation, you can start to be self-responsible and say, okay, well, this is something I need to adjust to, and I need to straighten this out, and now I need to figure out what it is I really want, which may or may not include him. But it's interesting, you're feeling a lot different, you're feeling differently about him because you've got that distance, you see. Meanwhile, he is also there. He is back at home, and he's busy looking at all of the things that he was pursuing, thinking that, you know, they were his dream. He thought they were your dream too. And now he's only beginning to realize that he was controlling you. And that wasn't what he intended to do. He was sharing his dream. He was just doing it in this overwhelming way, you see? So, you know, it seems to me like you and he are going to have a whole new conversation to share with one another at some point in the future. And between that March 24th and June 2nd period, you're going to get a really good bunch of coming attractions to be able to make some healthy decisions about what you really do want in the future. Okay. See, it's not that you don't want him. It's not that you do want him. You just want things to be different.
Yeah. Wow. That's right on.
And you know, they can be. Let me just rephrase that. My guides corrected me. They will be. And you know, there's not a darn thing either one of you can do about that. And folks, this is a good note to end it on, because not just for, you know, you, but for every single one of us on this call, life is getting ready to change in a very, very big way. And it's never, ever going to go back to what it was before. And guess what? That's okay, because we're all evolving. We're all finding the things and finally moving forward to those things and people that bring us joy. We're being more productive in what we do. We're being more sure of how we want to live our lives. And we're starting to be, all of us, really self-responsible, not putting the blame on another person for something that we may have unconsciously been doing. Okay, so life is going to change, but I think it's going to change in a good way.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Folks, we are out of time. This has been wonderful tonight. I want to remind you, if you get your simple question along with your name, where you're from, and your sun sign to me before 9 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern time, I will be glad to answer that question. Give me about a week and a half to 2 weeks to get to it, to make sure that I have enough time to address it. And I have really enjoyed tonight. I'm glad you were here with me, and I'll see you next month on March 26th. Put it on your calendar. Good night.